Hello there, Internet! Last time, I showed you the charming town of Klondike Bay. This town has historically lived under a curse rumored to be set by Rogue Dog Mountain. Though what lies behind this canine-shaped volcano, and what stories hide within? As a kid, have you ever looked into a forest and thought about what you would discover if you wandered in? Growing up, I was so fond of cartoons featuring talking animals, and when I saw these forests, I used to pretend that these magical creatures were just on the other side, and I would become an animal myself if I could just get in. Well, we all know how that turned out. Here in Marflepark, such an enchanted place exists, but in order to enter, we must venture away from the relative comforts of Klondike Bay and approach Rogue Dog Mountain. Rogue Dog Mountain has been said to have many golden riches for those who seek it, and it's why Klondike Bay was founded close by. However, the area around Rogue Dog Mountain has been known to be cursed, with the town becoming a frequent victim of disaster upon being settled. This all stopped when a coyote named Larkspur Latrana walked out from the forest and made Klondike Bay his home. So what lies behind this mountain? Larkspur came from a realm hidden behind the shadows of Rogue Dog Mountain called the Fabled Forest. In this realm, animals have gained the ability to walk on two legs and have formed their own society. A long time ago, a pair of bipedal coyotes named Taiyi and Lagundo were born with the gift of creation by shaping the earth. In an attempt to find a new home for themselves, they used their powers to make a forest grow out of a desolate depression from their very own paws. Together, the pair enjoyed their own haven, and eventually other critters too sought refuge in this secluded area. It was then that something amazing happened. Apparently, the magic the coyotes used made any animal who set foot in the forest begin to walk on two legs and speak the common language as if they were civilized. And eventually, these critters formed their own society within the forest. Taiyi saw the society of critters as nothing more than a nuisance that must be controlled. But Lagundo saw this as a friendly opportunity and began socializing with the animals and helping them survive and thrive. Taiyi considered himself more of a god and saw such acts as below him, and instead treated the animals as his mere playthings. Filled with power and an inflated ego, Taiyi carved the mountain into his own image, shaping it into a volcano in the shape of a coyote, and thus enhancing his power beyond the valley and causing a stream of storms and earthquakes throughout the land. Escaping the forest, Lagundo came across a ravaged town along a bay on the verge of collapse from an impending storm. Realizing that these stormy clouds came from a familiar-looking mountain in the distance, Lagundo saw the opportunity to deflect the storm and protect the town. Despite being the only bipedal animal in this town, Lagundo, now called Larkspur, has earned the trust of everyone in the town and is known as the savior of Klondike Bay. Over time, the fabled forest slipped away from the eyes of many save for those who wandered in and never returned. Finally at peace, Taiyi went into a slumber in his mountain abode. Little did he know, however, that being at rest would weaken the spell, and that's where we are today. The fabled forest has opened up. Do you dare come inside? Well, if you do dare go inside, I guess it's best that we go ahead and take a tour. There is no easy access into the Fabled Forest from Klondike Bay. No big signs and no grand entrance. To enter, you must go through one of the other lands and then onto one of the two winding trails deep into the woods. When the howling sounds of wildlife become faint sounds of speech, you know you're there. The local wildlife will happily greet you in their own way. For instance, the beavers here invite you to go float along the river. Just be wary of any falling timber around you, and don't accept their invite into their own home. You can even go for a journey into the volcano of Taiyi. They say those who journey up the mountain become one with their inner animal, and should you do, you can run through the forest as another critter, wild and free. Try not to be too loud, for you may awaken Taiyi from his slumber, and that is not a pretty sight. In the fabled forest, all critters come alive in harmony. There isn't a hint of human civilization around, and the denizens take pride in this little haven. I encourage you to get lost in the fabled forest and find your inner animal among the crowd. And with that, I thank you for watching this episode of Marflepark. Next week, we'll be going from one forest to another of a more warmer variety. Stay tuned for a sneak peek. Welcome to a small village in the southern tip of Mexico, where an adventurous bird will take you away. Episode 3, Plaza Paloma, Adventure Takes Wing. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell to stay caught up on the latest episodes and other fun stuff.